my 20 plus years teaching in the homeschool community, I have seen many parents grow apprehensive as the high school years approach. Some parents are intimidated by the advanced subject matter, particularly the math and science. Others worry that homeschooling will not provide an education rigorous enough for students who plan to go on to college. When my own boys reached high school, I admit that I wasn't satisfied with much of the science curriculum available to homeschoolers. While I still used the curriculum as a spine in my co-op classes, I found I had to supplement a lot with other material. As a science teacher at many homeschool co-ops, I knew that many students started my class hating science, viewing science as little more than facts to memorize to pass a test. I knew I had to change that. Science is everywhere and is best learned by discovering and exploration. Whenever possible, I helped students understand the science that they use each day and helped make science relevant. While that was great for the students in my classes, I wanted to be able to provide the same material to other homeschooling families. That's why I created my self-paced online courses. Each of my online science courses is self-paced. This means that a student can progress through the course as quickly as they wish over the 366 days that they have access to the course. Rather than a full curriculum, the science courses are more of a deep dive into certain topics. The courses can be used as standalone studies or can be used to supplement science curriculum a student may already be learning. The format is a mix of reading and videos. Vocabulary terms are incorporated throughout the text, which the students can record using the provided worksheets. Each online course also includes opportunities for hands-on exploration. Directions for optional experiments are included, many using items on hand, but some require items that can be purchased by vendors such as Amazon or Home Science Tools. In order to make sure that students understand the material before moving forward, the courses contain periodic quizzes. Students must earn at least 80% on a given quiz before they are able to move to the next section. If a student gets particularly excited about a given topic and wants to learn more, links to additional resources are given. The content of the self-paced courses goes above and beyond what is typically encountered in textbooks. Students are amazed to discover the fascinating processes taking place in their bodies and in the world around them. Here is a quick rundown of some of the featured topics in the courses. In my DNA, the Alphabet of Life course, students learned that all living things contain DNA, as well as the biological function of DNA. They learned the unbelievable amount of DNA in a human cell and how much DNA the average human body contains. Students understand the basic structure of DNA, how it is held together, base pairing rules, and how genetic information is organized into genes. Students get lots of practice with DNA and RNA base pairing rules. They learn how the information within DNA genes is expressed through the cellular processes of transcription and translation. To cement the way it works, students go through the process of transcribing a real gene, human hemoglobin, from DNA to RNA. Then they use a codon chart or wheel to translate the RNA into protein. This helps them see how the information within DNA genes directs the production of proteins. Once students learn how DNA is replicated within cells prior to cell division, they learn how DNA mutations can occur. Not only do they learn how mutations occur, they learn about the different types of mutations, including point mutations, deletions, and insertion, and their downstream effects. To drive it home, we take a look at 3 real diseases all caused by DNA mutations: sickle cell anemia, cystic fibrosis, and Tay-Sachs disease. Each of these diseases is caused by a different type of DNA mutation. Students complete an activity to discover where the mutations lie and what effects the mutations have on the proteins made from the mutant genes. The activity really helps students comprehend how seemingly insignificant changes in the DNA sequence of a gene can have devastating effects. Finally, students learn about cell division and the cell cycle. They learn that certain proteins regulate the cell cycle to protect faulty cells from producing offspring. If DNA mutations occur in the genes coding for these cell cycle regulators, faulty cells continue to divide. This is one way that cancer occurs. As the course ends, the student is encouraged to take learning further by exploring non-coding or junk DNA, epigenetics, and how genes are regulated so that they are only expressed within the cells that need them. For instance, why liver genes aren't expressed in the cells of the eye. With an understanding of how DNA works under their belts, students are ready to delve into the world of genetics and heredity. First, students learn that many genes come in different flavors called alleles. They learn about dominant and recessive alleles and the important distinction between genotype and phenotype. Then they investigate their own phenotypes by doing a personal genetic trait survey, using the results to predict what dominant and recessive alleles they carry. Students learn how different gene alleles lead to different genetic traits. No study of genetics would be complete without learning about Gregor Mendel and his pivotal work with pea plants. Students learn about his experiments and the principles of Mendelian inheritance. Students learn about meiosis, the specialized form of cell division that takes place to create gametes, sperm and egg cells. They learn how the process of meiosis leads to genetic diversity. Students learn how to use Punnett squares to predict the outcome of genetic crosses. They learn how to perform and analyze Punnett squares of single traits, monohybrid crosses, and two traits, dihybrid crosses. They also learn that just because an outcome is probable based on a Punnett square, that doesn't mean it's guaranteed. A fun coin toss activity is used to demonstrate this fact, using the gene allele for cystic fibrosis as a real-life example. Not only do students learn about traits following Mendelian patterns of inheritance, they also learn about non-Mendelian forms of inheritance. Students learn the interesting genetics of calico cats, an example of non-Mendelian genetics. Incomplete dominance is taught using the ability to taste PTC as an example. Codominance is taught using the genetics of human blood types. Students then learn about sex-linked traits by examining how hemophilia was passed down through the royal houses of many European countries. They learn how mitochondrial DNA is only passed down from mother to child. Finally, they learn that many genetics traits are due to the expression of multiple genes. Examples of such polygenic traits are skin and eye color. As the course concludes, students are encouraged to take learning further by exploring how non-disjunction can occur during meiosis, leading to Down syndrome and trisomy 18. Links are also included to learn more about genetic testing and gene therapy. As a microbiologist by training, I find the topic of microbiology fascinating. It blows my mind how much beauty and complexity exists in a microscopic world many of us will never see. I wrote this self-paced course to inspire students to explore the microscopic world and to understand that not all germs are alike. This is important since the treatment needed to cure a bacterial infection, antibiotics, will not work to treat a viral infection. Students learn what virulence factors different pathogens use to thwart the host defenses. We start off by exploring a brief history of microbiology. As a branch of science, microbiology is relatively young. This is due to the fact that for the majority of recorded time, humans were unaware that microorganisms existed. Students learn about the different theories that were accepted over the course of history to explain how diseases were spread: the four humors, the miasma theory, and spontaneous generation. They also learn about the scientists who challenged the theories of their day using the scientific method. Folks like Dr. Semmelweis, Francisco Redi, John Snow, Louis Pasteur, Robert Koch, and Alexander Fleming. Then we move on to how pathogens cause disease. Even though there are many different types of germs, there are certain things that must happen for any germ to cause disease. Students will learn the different routes through which pathogens can enter the body and how infection can spread from one person to another. Then each different type of germ, viruses, bacteria, fungi, protozoa, and algae, are presented. For each type of microorganism, students learn the defining characteristics that set each group apart and their life cycles. They learn the benefit that each type of microbe serves the planet, yes, even viruses. Then we focus in on how members of each group of microorganisms cause disease. In the course, students do some math as they calculate how many bacteria are produced from a single bacterium over the course of 8 hours, learn the difference between eukaryotic and prokaryotic cells, learn about the innate and adaptive arms of the immune system, and learn how antibiotics work and how antibiotic resistance occurs. The course concludes with a section highlighting what careers are available in the field of microbiology. If your student prefers, I have also created a shorter course on bacteria alone. I continue to add new courses in my Math Skills for Science series. In these courses, students review the math skills used in high school science courses like chemistry and physics. The Significant Figures course is already available. In this course, students learn the importance of significant figures and measurements and the 4 rules for identifying significant digits. Then they learn the rules for addition, subtraction, multiplication and division, and advanced operation using significant figures. I am currently working on the remaining courses in this series, including one on scientific notation, one on mathematical formulas, and one on dimensional analysis. Finally, I have 2 courses I'm particularly proud of. Over and over, I'd hear homeschool families complain that they wanted more for their high schoolers than the so-called kitchen science experiments available with many homeschool science curriculum. They felt their kids were missing out on the real labs available to students in traditional school. That's why I created my biology and chemistry lab video courses. Each course provides a whole year of quality high school labs that go above and beyond kitchen science and cover the major topics of high school biology and chemistry. Because the lessons can be done in any order, these video lab courses can be used alongside whatever course or curriculum your student is already using. Each lesson comes with a video review of the biology or chemistry topics covered in that lesson, printable instructions and a recording sheet, a full video demonstration of the lab, analysis questions, sample calculations when appropriate, and an answer key. Students can choose to do the labs alongside me at home or can opt to simply watch as I perform the labs and use my results to complete the analysis questions. As I said, my aim with these courses is to help bring science to life and help students recognize the science in action all around them. There are so many incredible careers available for this generation in science and technology, and a solid science background will go a long way to prepare students for college studies and beyond. Please visit my website to find even more resources for homeschooling high school science. I have blog posts explaining everyday science in easy to understand language, most with hands-on activities and labs your students can do. I also have a growing list of helpful resources you can use to teach high school science. You can find more information about the full year live online or asynchronous online classes I teach, including biology, chemistry, physics, anatomy and physiology, and genetics. I also offer live online tutoring, specializing in high school and college science. If you have any questions, feel free to use the Contact Us form on my website.